Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another great edition of Sports Étouffée. I'm your host, Logan Graffia, and on today's show, we're going to do a deep dive into possible coaches that Klint Kubiak could be bringing onto the Saints coaching staff when he gets hired after the Super Bowl. And then we're going to do some scouting. We're going to go to the Shrine Bowl and we're going to go to the Senior Bowl, and I'm going to tell you who and what I liked from watching those games. All that and in between right here on Sports Étouffée. But first, you know the drill. You gotta hear the theme music. Let's play the theme music. Alrighty. First up, Klint Kubiak is going to be the new offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. It'll be the first time since 2006 or 2008, whenever Pete Carmichael Jr. got the offensive coordinator position, that the New Orleans Saints will have a new offensive coordinator. It has been long overdue since Sean left, and everyone knows that Pete Carmichael did not even want the job. I mean, he did not even want the offensive coordinator job. So this is a step in the right direction. Everyone knows that Zach Robinson was my 1A choice. He goes off to the Atlanta Falcons in the division. And Klint Kubiak was always my 1B. Then Gerard Johnson was, 2A in the manner of speaking. So you get 1B, which is Klint Kubiak, who on the list had play calling experience. He's young. He's from the Shanahan tree. And he's got NFL bloodline relatives. I mean, his dad is Gary Kubiak, Super Bowl winning player and Super Bowl winning coach. So, and he's considered Gary Kubiak's considered one of the greatest coaches for the Texans of all time, if not the greatest as of now. But moving on from that, but Klint Kubiak, you hire a young and up and comer. He goes to the Shanahan staff. He had two stints with the Broncos. His last stint was with the Nathaniel Hackett regime, and we all know how horrible that was. And he took over play calling duties at the end of the season. Started like November 20th, well, as I'm reading it. Don't know what week that would have been. And once he took over play calling duties for the Broncos over Nathaniel Hackett, the Broncos didn't get significantly better, but they improved on offense. They started scoring more. They put up more points. They was moving the ball better. So then we go back to Minnesota Vikings, 2021. His first full year as a play caller, kind of was calling his dad's playbook because Gary Kubiak, his dad, retired before the season started, and then they promoted Klint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator. So it was on a short time frame, and Klint had to call his dad's playbook. But they still had the number 12th overall offense. Kirk Cousins had over 4,000 yards passing, had one of his better years. Dalvin Cook ran the ball quite well, had 1,000 yards or close to 1,000 yards, if I'm not mistaken. Then Justin Jefferson just went off the charts. It's Justin Jefferson, so we expect him to do great. So I expect Klint Kubiak to come in and hit the ground running with this offense because you have the pieces there. I know how we feel about Derek Carr. I have my feelings about it, but you already have a quarterback in place. So we'd like you to draft one, but we'll see. You have Derek Carr in place. You have Alvin Kamara. You have Chris Olave. You have Rashid Shaheed. You got Juwan Johnson. You have a offensive line that needs improvement. And then on the other side, you have a defense that at the end of the year finished top of the leagues. So there's that. You have the pieces in place. You do. So now, who could he bring over from the 49ers or just people that he knows and that is connected with? And one of the names, of course, would be assistant quarterbacks coach from the 49ers, his brother, Klint Kubiak. Now, what position could he take? Well, the Saints have openings at running backs coach, wide receivers coach, offensive line coach, and also senior offensive assistant. Now, For offensive line, I would think the easier choice would be you bring on James Craig, who's an assistant offensive line coach for the 49ers right now. Many people down here in Louisiana will know that name quite well. James Craig was the offensive line coach for the 2019 LSU Tigers football team. That is considered one of the greatest, or if not the greatest college football team of all time. You know what? I will say they are the greatest college football team of all time. Won the Joe Moore Award. He was there at LSU 2018 to 2020. Didn't end well in Baton Rouge with James Craig. Kind of probably a little bit of hard feelings there. And then you also have a Covington native and Southeastern alum lining up, Joe Graves. And he's highly regarded in that organization. Very high regarded in that organization. And either would be a great choice. You get a better offensive line coach, and then you're looking at the staff. Could he bring on someone like a Leonard Hankerson, who is the wide receivers coach? You see the work that he's done with someone like a Brandon Ayuk. And the rest of that wide receiver room, they have so many great wide receivers. You have a running backs opening. While he was in Denver, Wayne State head coach Tyrone Wheatley was the running backs coach. Many know Tyrone Wheatley from his Raider days as a tremendous running back. You don't know who he is, go look up his highlights. He was a really great running back for his time. So he has choices to make. Now, who will he bring with him? Don't know, but I'm just going off of connections, and so are the rest of us, I would have to assume. One of them I would like more than anything is James Craig, because you bring someone who is a really great offensive line coach. I mean, like I said, at LSU, he's a Joe Moore Award winner, which is awarded to the best offensive line in the country and to the best offensive line coach in the country as well. And he's won that. He's had NFL experience. He's had college coaching experience. And, it would just be a great hire. As of about the other ones, Tyrone Wheatley would be interesting. Does he leave his post at Wayne State as the head coach? He hasn't been – his record as a head coach isn't that great. He's only had 8 wins as a head coach and over 20-something losses, kind of like Dennis Allen. But I'm sure people respect Tyrone Wheatley more, but that's neither here nor there, nor the topic of today. But he can bring people with him. He really can. And maybe Klint Kubiak can be the wide receivers coach. I don't know how much experience he has coaching wide receivers, but maybe Klint Kubiak can be the wide receivers coach, and then James Craig be the offensive line coach. It would be also really great to see Tyrone Wheatley as a running backs coach. I mean, someone who's been through the trenches before as a pound-for-pound running back. It's very interesting, but I am very, very happy that the Saints hired Klint Kubiak. I think it's a real step in the right direction, because many thought, they're just going to hire John Gruden. They're just going to hire Ronald Curry. They're going to go with the lazy choice, the easy choice. And I'm happy they did not do that. Very happy that they did not do that, because you needed a new voice in that building, and you got one now. And Klint Kubiak was an incredible choice. And now, does he bring his dad, call up his dad and say, hey, Pop, do you want to be the senior offensive analyst for the New Orleans Saints? You ain't really got to do anything, but maybe just come be on the staff, come get you a paycheck. Don't know if that happens, but it would be very interesting to see. So that is just a little bit there about Klint Kubiak and the possibilities and the possible coaching staffers that he could bring with him or that he could recruit. Now that you have Klint Kubiak as your offensive coordinator, the free agents that he could possibly recruit. I mean, there's so many 49ers free agents out there. I don't know who Juwan Jennings that many people have taken an eye for on the Saints fan base. Is he able to recruit him to the Saints? Very doubtful. He's a restricted free agent, if I'm not mistaken. And I would think that he would want to stay with the 49ers. Klint Kubiak, as the one thing that he's run a lot of and has been successful with, runs a lot of play action. And the one thing that Derek Carr was really great at this year was play action. So that helps out a lot too. There's so much I can get into about scheme, but I'm going to save that for another show because I am very excited about Klint Kubiak, if you cannot tell. So moving on, we got the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl to discuss. The Senior Bowl was just over the weekend, and I have to say, very disappointing on the offensive side of the ball because you would have liked to see more from the offensive side of the ball, especially if you're a New Orleans Saints fan, because you need offensive linemen, you need offensive weapons, you need another receiver probably. And you did not really see a lot of great offensive movement from the Senior Bowl. And that's very disappointing. Very, very disappointing indeed. The game was a low scoring one, and the quarterback play was just awful. You had Joe Milton, you had Sam Hartman, Bo Nix threw a short touchdown in the end zone. They drove the ball down the field, and after that, the offense in the league was just not great at all. A lot of people sat, and one of them was Michael Penix Jr. I don't know if scouts told him, "Hey, don't play in this game. We're going to come and get you." I don't know. But the defenses, I got to highlight the defense because the Saints do need some defense. And I got to highlight the linebackers from both teams. I got to highlight. Cedric Gray, I would have to say, is one of the defensive MVPs for me. Cedric Gray was a tackling machine, linebacker out of North Carolina. And then on the defensive backs, had some very underrated defensive backs. One of which was Josh Proctor from Ohio State. Everyone knows Saints love Ohio State players. Then you have Evan Williams, the defensive back, safety from Oregon. And Saints could use another safety with possibility that, Marcus May gets released and that Tyrann Mathieu is getting a little bit up there in age. In the manner of speaking, I mean, Tyrann Mathieu is still a great Pro Bowl player, but you need somebody to be that heir apparent eventually. You have to prepare for the future. And then, a lot of the Notre Dame guys did quite well. Cam Hart was locked up. And then the defensive line, Braden Fisk or Braden Fiske, however you pronounce it. I think they pronounced it Fiske. He did outstanding. Defensive tackle from Florida State. And everyone knows how much I want Jared Verse on this team. Drafting his teammate as well would be quite great for that defensive front. You need better and younger defensive linemen. And that's just on one of the teams. Now, the running backs didn't look bad, but another person I wanted to highlight, he struggled, but the quarterback play was not great, is Devontae Walker. That is someone I am very, very, very high on. Wide receiver from North Carolina. Didn't play for the first few games of the season due to some NCAA rulings that was going on. They got those sorted out, and he was able to play at around 800 yards. He's a big body wide receiver. He's fast. They said he was the fastest wide receiver in practice. And then Luke McCaffrey, former quarterback, goes to Rice, the switch to wide receiver. Klint Kubiak coming over. Does Christian say, "Hey, Klint, draft my brother. That would be really cool." We don't know. Luke McCaffrey had a lot of great catches in that game. And it was interesting to see. Now, for the Shrine, just continuing on with the Senior Bowl, one of the best corners out there was Jarvis Brownlee from Louisville. Lockup cornerback. Very lockup cornerback. He was all over the place. And he sealed the game at the end. He caught an interception at the end, and I want to say he caught an interception. But he was very much locked up during that whole entire game. A lot of defensive backs did very, very well. So the highlights from that game was the linebackers and the defensive backs and a few of the defensive linemen in that game. One of them, Justin Jefferson from LSU, did quite well as well. But the best defensive lineman out there was Braden Fiske from Florida State. Now with the Shrine Bowl, one player that stood out among the rest on the defensive side for me that I was personally scouting was Sundiata Anderson from Grambling. a fast edge. If you want speed off the edge, like a Carl Granderson or a James Houston, who just was on the Lions, it was just on the Lions this year and last year, made huge noise coming out of HBCU of Jackson State. You go and get Sundiata Anderson. I mean, he played well. I don't know how many tackles that he had, but you want speed and you want power off the edge. You go get Jarrett Burst in the first round, and then maybe you go get someone like a Sundiata Anderson from Grambling in like maybe fifth or sixth or even seventh round if he's actually there. That was one of the best players I seen at the Shrine Bowl in Frisco, Texas. Well, you guys, that is all the time I have here for you guys today. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share this YouTube show, Sports Étouffée, all over social media. I cannot do this without your viewership. Please give me your views, leave me a comment, leave me topic suggestions, anything that you want, and I will see it and I will respond to it in a timely fashion. I'm on Twitter or X at the Soulman57. You can follow me there. Soul spelled Soul, like the genre of music. I'm on Facebook. Just search my name, Logan Graphia. And I'm also on Instagram, same name as my Twitter name, at the Soulman57. I am not hard to find. Send me a message, comment, concern, whatever you may have. So that is all the time I have for you today. I am Logan Graphia. This has been another great edition of Sports Étouffée. I shall see you guys next time.